Yeah, and I'm not going to go Gloomstalker and Swashbuckler. The Underdark Pirate doesn't really...
I'm telling you, that was a good idea. The giant battleship on the Dark Lake that can't go anywhere because there's just no tunnels big enough for it. You're just confined to one central area.
But you're telling me that you're going to make an entire player character around that who just spends his time on a boat in the Underdark?
I don't know. Yeah. Captain Underdarky. I don't know.
So basically you stumble across a player who's absolutely lost their mind.
Welcome to Monsters and Multiclass, your weekly Dungeons & Dragons fix. I'm Kevin Odie.
I'm Jared Bornigal.
And I'm Will Melton.
And we'll be hanging out with you for the next hour to talk about anything and everything D&D related. This week we'll be looking at the Ranger Rogue Multiclass, and then Dinosaurs, everybody's favorite thing in the whole wide world, from the Monster Manual and Bolo's Guide to Monsters. So pull up a chair and stick around.
All right, so today's class is the Ranger Rogue. So a Ranger is a nature warrior, and what does it get? It gets...
Are you serious? It gets spells?
It gets spells. It's a half-caster. It gets a companion.
It can get a companion.
It can get a companion. It's a monster slayer. It's a whole bunch of things. A rogue is an assassin, a thief, anything sneaky and nefarious, and it gets sneak attack. Doesn't get any spells unless you're an arcane trickster. But beyond that, main feature is definitely going to be its sneak attack. So the two together, invoking any feelings, Will?
Yeah, a park ranger who steals stuff.
A park ranger who steals stuff.
End segment.
Kevin?
He's good. He's happy.
He's okay. Yeah. Well, all right. Let's wrap it up here. Our monster of the week.
I like this multi-class. I think it fits really well. Role-playing wise, there's really almost no justification you need to do. It's just kind of like you have a ranger. I think the most obvious play is you have a ranger with whatever subclass you pick, and they're a ranger for whatever reason you want them to be a ranger, and they do some extra training within the kind of stealthy, underhand, and exploiting weaknesses realm of things, and so they just kind of excel at that a bit.
So that's taking the sneak attack and making it less about the fact that they're hidden or anything like that, more about hitting where it counts.
Yeah.
So that's always been the thing. It's sneak attack is not, I snuck up on them and attacked. You just attacked really, really, really precisely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's poorly worded. I guess that could be... So with sneak attack, if you have advantage, the rogue gets sneak attack and does extra damage.
Mm-hmm.
If you're hidden, you get advantage. So I think that's kind of where the name comes from. But really, the more common is if there is an ally of yours within 5 feet of the enemy you're attacking that's not incapacitated, you get sneak attack. That's probably 75% of the time when sneak attack comes up, I think.
Yeah.
And to me, that's always means it's really more, it's a solid hit. You are able to exploit their weaknesses in their armor or whatever, and the other person's distracting them.
Right. But the one thing that kind of goes against each other is a lot of times for the rogue, I view that as more of an urban class, because it does have to do a lot with sneaking around and thieving. Not all the time, but it can deal with thieving, and you're not doing, I guess, the same type of sneaking as a ranger. The only thing that really connects is like a monster hunter is the first one that comes up for me. And there is a subclass for ranger that is specific to that ideal of hunting monsters and whatnot.
The subclass called Monster Hunter.
Is it just Monster Hunter?
Specific to?
It's just
Slayer.
Monster Slayer. Oof.
Haha, totally different.
It's actually after Hunters, so. But no, yeah, that's exactly where I was coming from it too. The ranger is the ranger / druid is the prototypal. I live in the forest. I spend all my time with beasts. Not exactly the most social kind of guy. The rogue is the exact polar opposite.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be. So you have the scout rogue, which it has some pretty decent abilities.
Which book is that in?
Xanathars.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Scout Rogue and Xanathars. That's fine.
So yeah, the scout right away, like even at level, right when you take it to level 3, you have skirmisher, so you can move up to half your speed as reaction when an enemy ends its turn within 5 feet of you. You do not provoke an opportunity attack. They even have survivalist, where you get nature and survival proficiency, and it's doubled, which fits really well. with Ranger. Superior mobility. At 9th, your walking speed is increased by 10. And that also applies to climbing and swimming. Ambush Master, which, starting at 13th. So you're getting a little high for a multi-class, but you have an advantage on initiative rolls. In addition, the first creature hit during the first round of combat becomes easier for you and others to strike. All rolls against that have advantage till your next turn. So the Scout's a very mobile rogue that is not focusing on sneaky and like assassinations and thieving and underhanded things.
Right.
I think the Scout fits perfectly with the Ranger. It's almost to the point where it's double dipping. We've talked about there's a few subclasses like that where it's kind of like, all right, well, I could see people wanting to multi-class Ranger and Rogue, and we're just going to give them a subclass that kind of gets you that flavor anyways. That's the Scout.
Right. And one of the things we run into with this multi-class is the Ranger is awful to dip into. As we've discussed, you just don't get much in those first couple levels.
Right.
Whereas the Rogue is kind of the opposite.
It's awesome.
It's really good. I mean, even the first 2 to 3 levels, I'd say 3. You're going to get a lot out of it. You get cunning actions. You get all these bonus actions that you can do. You get sneak attack, of course.
Expertise.
So
Your first archetype ability.
Right. So
go to level 5, which is not really a dip anymore, but uncanny dodge.
Right. So I mean, it's doing a good job of rounding out the Ranger.
Exactly.
That personally has never been that great of a class. So I definitely like that. Yeah. And combined with that Monster Slayer, you definitely get a lot. I mean, Colossus Slayer just lets you get tons of damage if you want to do that. It's when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, the creature takes an extra 1d8 damage if it's below its hit point maximum. And I mean, that's basically all the time.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're doing a ton of damage if you combine that with sneak attack.
Oh, yeah. With Monster Slayer, I really like the Inquisitive Rogue. I think roleplay-wise, they fit really well and can make a really cool character. So the Monster Slayer is all about going out and hunting the monsters and the evil creatures, and they have stuff to help with that, where they can mark something and it does more damage, and you could cancel their abilities and get advantage on rolls against your marked prey and all that. So it's really focusing on you're a monster hunter. You go out and hunt and slay monsters. The Inquisitive Rogue is all about reading people in situations and being really great at investigation and puzzling things out. And then you could apply that to combat in a way where you can use a bonus action to analyze a creature. And if you roll high enough on it, then you can get sneak attack even if you don't satisfy the other requirements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that seems to fit. If you would need the right campaign for it, but it's the monster hunter that's not so much attacking the rampaging beasts in the wild. They're the monsters among us, so to speak. The monsters that hide in plain sight. They're finding vampires and doppelgangers and oblexes. And,
changelings.
Yeah, changelings and
all
that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that does.
I think that could fit really well and be a cool character.
It definitely does. Say it kind of ignores the Ranger's favored terrain, which kind of puts them in a very specific niche a lot of times. But that's not a big deal. It's just a lot of times I feel like with a multi-class, the Ranger's favored terrain becomes a really big afterthought. Unless you're having a campaign centered around that favored terrain.
Even without a multi-class, that's kind of the case.
Yeah. Are we missing anything at the higher levels of Rogue that is making the Ranger less desirable?
That's it. 20. The Rogue capstone is Stroke of Luck. If your attack misses a target within range, you can turn a miss into a hit. Alternatively, if you fail an ability check, you can treat the D20 roll as a 20. Once you use this feature, you can't use that until you finish a short or long rest.
Guaranteed hit every short or long rest is pretty good.
Yeah, but it's not crazy.
No, it's not. I'll agree with that. We've talked at length about how the Ranger's capstone is totally pointless. It just gives you like an extra D8 or something of damage.
Yeah.
It's
against your favorite enemy.
So
it's,
which at that point you should have a couple of, but it's just not great.
No.
It's not important at all.
Not at all. No. Ranger is, I think we called it, I think Will called it a bitterness bounce. If you're leveling up at Ranger, don't take it all the way to 20. Don't take it to high levels. Don't even dip out of it. It's a bitterness bounce. Just out of this crap.
Yep.
Got what I needed.
Like, wow, I hate this. Let me see if Rogue's going to offer anything.
And it will. It
Yeah.
will round out your Ranger very well. It kind of almost like fills in the gaps that the Ranger
Is missing,
Yeah.
which that extra damage and just a lot of utility that you get from like expertise and things. I feel like Thief doesn't work super well with it, again, because of that urban feel.
Yeah.
Arcane Trickster, I don't like because you're already a half caster and now you're throwing a third caster in there and you just don't get anything. I don't even think.
Right, and they're using then your the Dex, Wisdom, and Intelligence, which is a little rough.
It's just pointless. You're not getting anything out of that.
right.
It's like you become like a 2/5 caster because you water down your
there's
half
rules.
caster.
Yeah, so if you're multi-classing it to figure out what level you're at, if you're a half caster, you take the levels in the class and divide it by 2, round it up. And then if you're the third class, or like the Arcane Trickster, you take divided by 3, rounded, I think, up.
Yeah, I wouldn't
And then you
recommend
add
it.
them. Yeah,
Repeating, of
so
course.
you really wouldn't get much out of it.
In general, the subclasses that give you spellcasting, Eldritch Knight and Arcane Trickster, both of those never really great to go with another spellcaster on.
For multi-classing?
Yeah, for multi-classing. I mean, it's pointless. The whole point of going into one of those is, hey, I've got spellcasting now, even in a really limited sense. It just doesn't make sense. And that's fine. It doesn't need to make sense. Assassin could work, but I wouldn't really think of going super far into it.
Yeah, I like it for the
Just
flavor with Horizon Walker. So we've talked about Horizon Walker before and a little underwhelmed by it individually, but I think Horizon Walker with the Rogue could be really cool. Yeah, like the Planar Warrior ability at 3rd level. Choose one creature within 30 feet. The next time you hit the creature on this turn with weapon attack, yeah, all damage becomes force damage, and the creature takes an extra 1d8 force damage. So if you get it right at 3rd level.
Right.
So there's nothing worse than being a rogue and getting your big sneak attack and then having being resistant to your piercing, slashing, or bludgeoning damage.
Right, which happens a lot at later levels.
Yeah. So you convert it over to force damage and very little things. So
Is
that's
that
good way to get that to
a
hit.
resource ability, or is that, how does that work?
Just as a bonus action?
Okay, so you're sacrificing your bonus action for it.
Yes.
Which isn't a bad thing. It's just,
Yeah. And you do an extra 1d8 damage.
right. Just, as usual, as a rogue, your whole thing is you've got a lot of things you can do as a bonus action.
Right.
That adds more to it. But I feel like a lot of times that's what you'll end up using.
Right. Then Ethereal Step. It's 7th level, so Rangers kind of have a gap there in their subclass between 3rd and 7th. But as a bonus action, you could cast the Etherealness spell, which without expending a spell slot, but it ends at your current turn. So basically, for your turn, you could step into the ethereal plane.
Right.
Which means when you're in the ethereal plane, you don't interact with objects. You could even like move yourselves up, down, etc. Walk through walls. Nothing could target you. You can only use it once per short or long rest, but I think that pairs really well just role playing wise with assassin. Like you're sneaking in, and then there's like those well guarded door to like the king of this castle. Ethereal step through the wall,
Yeah.
and then you assassinate.
That could be really good.
Yeah, I think that could be cool. Then Distant Strikes, which is at 11th level. When you take the attack action, you can teleport up to 10 feet before each attack, so an unoccupied space you see, which is just cool. It's kind of generally useful for any melee combatant. But then, if you attack at least 2 different creatures with the action, you can take 1 additional attack with it against a 3rd creature. So when looking at multi-classing out of Rogue, there's obviously a lot of things at play, but one thing I always look for is if there's a way to get for a rogue to get more attacks, because a rogue does not get extra attack, because they're all centered around they get 1 big hit, their sneak attack.
Right.
So you want to try and maximize the opportunities for this rogue to get their sneak attack. So at 5th level you get extra attack, so that gives you 2, and then here at 11th you would get the potential 3rd attack, a 3rd chance for sneak attack.
Right. Also, for something good for rogues is the ranger gets a fighting style.
Yes.
At 2nd level, I believe.
Probably.
Those are always great. You can take archery if you want to go classic ranger and rogue, which is usually doing things at a range, and you get +2 to every attack roll. That's really great. More chances to hit, and once you get that extra attack, you're just going to be hitting very often,
Yes.
which is really nice. What skill overlap is there? I believe it's Dex and Wisdom.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah, just Dex and
Very
Wisdom.
easy.
Very, very easy.
Wisdom's kind of universally good.
So is
And of
Dex.
course, dexterity, yeah.
Right. Both of those are universally good. Don't have to worry about strength. Don't have to worry about intelligence. Charisma. Constitution's always good as well. So, that's really easy. Definitely.
Right. And then let's not forget about Gloomstalker.
I was waiting for it.
Yep. Yeah, like if Scout is the rogue's answer to having a ranger flavor, Gloomstalker is the ranger's answer to having a rogue flavor. It's all about kind of attacking from the dark, getting the upper hand, ambushing, stuff like that. It's first level. It's third level ability. The first one you get is Dread Ambusher. You give yourself a bonus on your initiative, which is great for rogues, especially if you're like if you're the assassin, who I think also then get advantage.
Correct.
On initiative, which is just crazy. And then the first attack of the turn does extra damage. Just one attack, but whatever. That's nice. You got an Umbral Sight. You get Dark Vision or Enhanced Dark Vision if you already have it. And then if any creature's relying on Dark Vision to see you, you're invisible. Fantastic ability, especially for a rogue again.
Yeah. You're getting sneak attack every single time with advantage then.
Yeah.
So, like, that's
If you can't see you, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, you're just, potentially getting crits off that and everything else. Honestly, I'd be really frustrated as a DM if I was playing a campaign in the Underdark and somebody went Gloomstalker Rogue. The combination of the two is pretty rough.
This combination really works with Assassin.
Yes.
Especially, Assassin has one good thing right up front with the third level, and then one good thing at 17th level, and then the middle's like, But
it's a nice dip.
Jeez.
We're talking 4 levels into Rogue and just go Assassin. And that Assassin one is starting at 3rd level. You are at your deadliest when you get the drop on your enemies. You have advantage on attack rolls against any creature that hasn't taken a turn in combat yet. In addition, any hit you score against a creature that is surprised is a critical hit. It's kind of tough, though, to go specifically for surprises.
In a team setting, yes.
Yeah.
With a Gloom, I think part of the reason is you have to go off on your own if you want to surprise stuff.
Right.
And I think the Gloomstalker is a great example of something that can very easily surprise to start every combat if they really wanted to. The DM's going to create a fiat to stop that to some extent, but it's not unrealistic for what essentially amounts to an invisible ranger to get surprised a lot.
Right. I imagine this being something where you're just going to be a sneaky character. Maybe you find ways to kill the lights in an area beforehand. Maybe somebody has a darkness spell that helps you get the drop, and it just forces you to think a little bit differently. I think a lot of times why you don't get that surprise round is because people just don't view it as that useful. It's obviously very useful, but not to the point that it might be worth casting spells to get and really just focusing your attention on getting that potentially. And I don't know. I think as a DM, you kind of have to play around it and let them do it more often as well, as much as it does potentially ruin encounters because they're doing so much damage in that first turn. I think it's also a time that you can play to your player's strengths and give them these opportunities to think outside the box and take an encounter that maybe is too difficult and let them prepare a little bit, get that surprise round, and knock it down to a more reasonable expectation.
Yeah. And then the hunter, the 3rd level hunter, if you take Giant Killer. So at 3rd level of hunter, you get to pick between 3 options. Giant Killer is when a large creature within 5 feet of you hits or misses you with an attack. You can use your reaction to attack the creature immediately after. So for Rogue, that's amazing to get an attack a reliable attack outside of your turn. Because sneak attack, you get 1 per turn, and it's very specific on that. It's not 1 per round. So you have your turn, and you do your attack, and you get sneak attack. Then it's this monster's turn, and they hit you or they miss you, and you use your reaction to attack them. It's not. It's a new turn. You get sneak attack again. You can get 2 sneak attacks around with that reliably. Otherwise, you're just if you don't have that, you're just hoping on getting opportunity attacks.
Right.
So it's a very cool, reliable way for a rogue to get 2 sneak attacks, which is just insane.
I've never personally liked that ruling, but that's the ruling. So it is a good way to get that.
And I'm sorry, which class is that?
Hunter. The ranger hunter, the hunter's prey.
That was Monsters
The
Manual.
Monster Slayer one?
No, that was Monsters Manual.
You're in Xanadu.
Monster Manual. They have subclasses in the Monster Manual now?
the Monster Manual,
Wow.
where all the rules are.
Cool.
the player's monster. manual.
Okay.
Yeah, the player handbook.
Yeah.
The base, the classic hunter.
Yep. I'm
Ranger,
with you.
Yeah.
We know D.
We jump around really quick. It's
Yeah.
hard.
Keep up, man.
Yeah.
Not like you do a podcast on this.
I don't. Never done that. One thing for Ranger, just at 11th level on that Hunter subclass, the volley is really good because you're just giving a lot of attacks with the opportunity of getting, as you said, as long as you can get more attacks as a rogue, you're usually in a pretty good spot there.
Yeah, Volley or Whirlwind. Whirlwind's cool. You make a melee attack against any number of creatures within 5 feet of you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to wonder like if there's a good combination of like for a melee ranger rogue. I hate to add another stat into it, but really 2 isn't too bad. Swashbuckler could be kind of useful.
Why do you need another stat?
Charisma. They use charisma for Swashbuckler.
Yeah.
Not for too much, but they do get like the ability to get sneak attack in another way, which is if they're isolated with somebody, that takes away from something like Whirlwind.
Yeah, I think that actually pairs very poorly with the Ranger. A lot of what the Ranger does is more around crowd controls and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's fair. See, I don't think you really need your charisma modifier. You get a bonus to your initiative on your charisma modifier, which we go over every time, is really great if you're also doing a dual rogue multi-class, which you can't do. But it works well with the assassin, but it's just, otherwise there's no other class that specifically benefits that hard from having your initiative order thrown up earlier, besides maybe the Gloomstalker. I think that does give you something if you go first, you were saying?
Yep.
So, yeah, and I'm not going to go Gloomstalker and Swashbuckler. The Underdark Pirate doesn't really...
I'm telling you, that was a good idea. The giant battleship on the Dark Lake that can't go anywhere because there's just no tunnels big enough for it. You're just confined to one central area.
But you're telling me that you're going to make an entire player character around that who spends his time on a boat in the Underdark?
I don't know. Yeah. Captain Underdarky. I don't know.
So basically, you stumble across a player who's absolutely lost their mind. They hang out in the Underdark. They spend their entire time training in the Underdark. And because of that, they are, their favorite terrain would be the Underdark. That works. They're a pirate because they've lost their mind and they found a boat in the Underdark and decided to live there. And they're also very charismatic because that gets thrown in there as well.
I have no idea why they'd be charismatic.
I don't know either, but they need it for Swashbuckler. It's a strong term.
Oh no, I don't personally like Swashbuckler outside of isolated incidents.
Yeah, I keep wanting to though.
I like Assassin. I've always liked Assassin. I like the Scout. The Scout really does work very well.
But it's kind of what you were saying with Assassin though, of like the middle just isn't that interesting.
And that's kind of what I'm saying is it's one of those things you can just kind of avoid going that far into Rogue with this. Bitterness Bounce. The Ranger has some decent stuff, but it really, at higher levels, it's just like nothing. It's almost insulting to people. So they're like, you get out of there and you become a rogue, man.
Right.
You learn that assassination game.
Right. Which, I mean, is really just focusing on, like, from a role-playing perspective, you're really just getting better at killing stuff with the bitterness bounce of a rogue. And I don't think there's too much fighting there besides, like, things like expertise and just a general ability to be more sneaky. But again, just better at hunting. Hunting goes really well with the rogue's mentality.
Yeah. Rangers, yeah.
Both, honestly.
Both. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah. And then the Ranger spells, I think a lot of them work really well with Rogue because there's a decent amount of ways to give yourself sneak attack. They can snaring strike. It can restrain a creature. If they're restrained, you have advantage on their attacks.
Right.
You get sneak attack. Conjure animals. That way you can always have an ally within 5 feet and you get sneak attack. Entangle.
That's true.
Not plant growth difficult terrain, but like entangle and...
Yeah, I mean, I could think of
like
a good scenario where it's always hell for the DM, but you conjure up some smaller animals and you just send them out to be next to absolutely every enemy. And
8 squirrels for the entire battle.
basically, yeah. I mean,
And then you're the scout rogue that can bounce. Scout rogue, a Horizon Walker who has a lot of mobility, just bounce around between these different animals who all have.
squirrel army sounds pretty great, though.
Unfortunately,
you specifically throw squirrels out.
there should be escape elf for conjure woodland beings where you're allowed to summon like 90 challenge rating 0 things. You're not. It's not. It has to be 1/4 or lower. You can go up to 8. You can
1/8.
get 8 squirrels.
Yeah. Yep, 8 squirrels is pretty good, though.
Yeah, 8 squirrels. That's going to be a lot of advantage.
And then you just keep on making them take the dodge action. So
Dodge my squirrels.
I love the idea of that. And it's really just getting you the advantage, which you kind of got to focus one at a time anyways, but
Right.
it's still cool.
Yeah. Unless you're a party of Ranger Rogues.
Ooh.
Then you can have so many squirrels, man. That's 32 squirrels on the battlefield.
The action economy is going to be in your favor at the end of the day.
Yeah, I can see that being very frustrating for the DM, watching his party of ranger rogues teleporting around their squirrels. Just
No, it sounds like my party's about to face a whole slew of sorcerers who have fireball.
hell yeah.
So that's going to be real quick. Like, oh, they all succeeded on their save?
They
They're
have
still
one
squirrels.
health, idiot.
Yeah.
It's a squirrel. That was a bomb.
Which is why you get a squirrel to, or you get somebody who has delayed fireball in your party, give it to the squirrel, and now you have the squirrel infiltrate places and
Oh man,
The cruelty.
holding the little pebble that is
Yeah.
delayed fireball.
in its mouth though, which
That's
is
awesome. That's adorable.
Is that an acorn? Why is it glowing?
And luckily, no animals are harmed in this because they just return to their plane.
Sure.
If they're conjured, yeah.
Oh, thank God! Oh
Yeah.
man, I had no idea if that was true.
They're fading in the.
I mean, you're still like bombing people. So.
Yeah, but people don't get upset about that.
Yeah.
They get upset about killing squirrels.
He
Yeah.
killed him in a surprise explosion, but the squirrel's okay, right?
Yeah, basically,
All right, I can get behind it.
that's definitely my mentality.
I think that actually is something like as a joke campaign that would be kind of fun is getting everybody on board with 2 classes and they all have to multi-class slightly differently and just seeing how out of hand that it can get.
What do you mean?
Everybody you
Like the
pick
whole
2
party.
classes, the entire party has to just multi-class their own way through it.
Okay.
So there's
But you could do it however you want. But you have to multi-class. Has to be those 2.
Okay, gotcha. You can take whatever subclass you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say
Gotcha.
start at like level 10 and then go from there.
That'd be fun. That'd be good.
if only we had more people who had just obscene amounts of interest in this one niche topic so we could get together every week and have a joke campaign.
Well, there's 3 of us then.
I can play
we
2
could force
characters.
the other 2, characters, people in our party.
We just
they're
need
gonna
one
hate
more.
that.
I'm doing my first campaign with only 3 people. That's going to be weird because somebody dropped out. But we're like, let's just stick with this and just roll with it.
Yeah, it could be fine.
Yeah.
I could actually see it being a little better, actually.
Yeah, especially because it's a very roleplay heavy campaign.
Yeah.
So it like gives everybody a chance to shine.
Right.
Of course, there's less solutions to stuff because you don't have, hey, we've got this person's spells and whatever else. But I'm kind of excited about it because it's going to be very different. Usually it's 4 to 5 people for me. So
Right. I think
Yeah.
4 is a good spot.
4 is usually, the best. But for such a roleplay heavy campaign, I think it'll go well.
Yeah. I remember
10.
10 people at once. Oh my God.
it's common.
I know. I see that stuff all the time.
A
and
lot
I
of
just
game stores have that issue.
don't
Yeah.
get how people just
Well, it's-
keep their
it's-
sanity.
Yeah, it's being a little too nice, and it's like you can't fault people for that. It just like they want to be inclusive and bring people into the hobby, and they're talking with other friends and acquaintances, like, oh, D&D, that sounds really cool. Could I join? Sure. And then they're the 8th person in the group, and it's no one really has the heart to say no. I don't know what it is about us. We have no problem just telling people no. I can't tell you how many people I've told, oh, I'm sorry, we're full. I'll put you on the list, though.
Yeah,
And
that's
they're like number 15 on the list.
right. And then
It's
like
like, I'm
I
never
lose
gonna
people
get-
and I'm like, yeah, let's just keep it this low number.
I guess we just don't have that nicety in us.
No, we're
No.
cruel,
Oops.
heartless people. Conquest paladins.
I'm also I'm at this weird point now where it's not that I'm against it, but it is difficult for me to bring new people into a game when everybody's kind of experienced. And like we're now like our main group that plays on Wednesdays is like all at a certain level of experience where somebody new is going to be super intimidated. And I don't think it's a good intro campaign. No, I totally don't, because our fights are harder. We're all very RP heavy, and adding somebody brand new would just be like, whoa, what is going on here?
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's not a possibility. It would have to be at the start of a campaign where we're like starting at level 1 and stuff. And, you know, it has to be somebody who's probably pretty dedicated, or else I hate to say it, they're going to kind of bring down our time a little bit, like our enjoyment of it. My other campaign, a little bit more open and like, you know, newbie friendly, and I'm trying to keep it that way for when new people join, so I can use that as a filter. It's like, hey, you got to have fun here first, and if you really have fun, then we'll consider bringing you onto the full group.
Right. We have to face 16 specialized multiplying revenants.
Yes.
Also, you have to make your multi-class out of these 2 options. Don't ask questions, just do it.
So it's not that we would be mean or uninclusive in any manner. It's just I just don't think it's the best place for people to start.
I was gonna say our Out of Abyss campaign that I'm DMing it. I think we've got it. I think we're in a good place with it. Yeah, I would be reluctant to bring in a new person. We have this kind of really dark, heavy tone set with really brutal battles that you guys manage and rock at. But yeah, like a new person, I would feel kind of bad. Like the current situation you're dealing with now, I would feel terrible if like a brand new person to D&D, that's their first.
Right. Well, I'm sitting here like
it.
been thinking for the past week, like, what are we gonna do? And like have like 3 or 4 different solutions. They'd be like, so on my turn, how many attacks do I get? And it's like, oh no, I'm sorry. Like this isn't the place for you.
So yeah, that's the issue. It's like, do you scale it to the party's size, or do you acknowledge this person is not experienced and be like, oh, we're going to knock down the challenge rating to what 4 people would be instead of 5 because that person doesn't know all their druid
or
spells.
It's like everyone else would help with them. I mean, we're not like exclusive and like, oh, no, you have to do this on your own. We'd all help. But then are they going to feel kind of railroaded and quarterbacked? Like they're not really playing. It's everyone is playing their character for them.
Right. Which, I mean, I have problems doing that to even Kyla, my girlfriend. She's like playing a wizard, and I'll like be like, oh, you should do this. And she's like, stop it. I got this. I know what I'm doing now. It's like, oh, that's right. You're level 7. You've been playing this character for a while. I should just step off. I'm just constantly like, let's do it.
Yeah, I have to check myself on that.
Yeah.
I think like in Storm King's Thunder, I kind of got a little out of hand with my bard. Sometimes I had to like kind of rein myself in. Like, no, like everyone knows what they're doing. I'm not controlling the whole party.
Right.
Nobody tells me what to do.
Because you just always make the wrong decisions, and we've just accepted that. Yeah, so I mean, as I said, there are different ways to introduce people to D&D. I don't think an extremely hardcore campaign is the best way to do it. I think it might be a bit off-putting is my only worry. But that's not to say I don't go out of my way to try and get more people into the hobby, as I've got a one-off session happening next week.
Nice.
It's going to be
What are you doing for that?
Probably hags.
Oh, you should probably do Dinosaurs.
Not even kidding.
Yeah,
After talking about it last time, I haven't come up with anything. It's Thursday, so I probably should. But I was thinking Hags is probably going to be a good one. They're going to be like level 3, so be good. Challenge rating 5 against Green Hags, and probably be a good.
And it's familiar. Everyone kind of knows what a hag is.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So
do the hard coven. Give them that eye bite. Just out of the gate.
I'm gonna. There's one guy who's pretty experienced, but there's only going to be 4-person party. So I mean, the challenge rating stuff will be tough, but I'll play it by ear. I don't think anyone's. I'm not going to stomp people. Oh, welcome to the game. And eye bite and hold person, and they're going to crit on you. And
also, they're riding frogs, and there's a Hydra. Boosh.
No.
And then they summon the regular dreadnought.
Right. The regular dreadnought. Oh, my most dreaded adversary.
That wasn't episode 1, was it? Was that episode 0? Does no one know what we're talking about?
No, the regular dreadnought. I thought it made a feature, man.
It doesn't matter.
We never. It was never a monster of the week. I think that was
No, we talked about the Bone Claw in episode 0.
But we had a side tangent.
I don't know, man. Regular dreadnought's probably a thing. We're gonna lose the ability to remember these episodes pretty soon here.
Pretty soon here, as we do not even remember the basics right now.
It's, episode 0 is before we committed to doing all of this. We borrowed a really cheap microphone, plunked it down on the table, and kind of recorded one of these just to see how much we enjoyed it, if we could keep it going for a while. Admittedly, it's pretty rough. We haven't released it anywhere. but we might.
We talk about the Bone Claw, and it's a really good
Yeah, and we're kind of
conversation.
disappointed because the Bone Claw was what we talked about, and that was a really cool monster. So I'm thinking like 1 year anniversary release episode 0, which is like a disclaimer, like, hey, this is kind of rough. We also didn't have the name yet. We called ourselves Tunnels Yuntai Rule.
Ugh.
Oh yeah,
It's so
cringy.
bad.
that was such a good name.
I mean, it was cringy on purpose.
I know,
Because
yeah.
we weren't going to tell people.
It was
Thanks,
cringy
Devin.
on purpose. The cringe lord scream. Okay, bud.
It was a good time.
Oh man, what multi-class were we even doing?
Ranger Rogue.
Oh yeah,
We did Ranger Rogue. We're doing Ranger Rogue right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He asked, what multiclass are we doing? Or did you mean then in
yeah,
episode
he meant
0?
in that first one.
no, I was joking.
Oh.
Because
The
we were
first
talking
one-
about entryism into D&D for like 30 minutes.
Oh. Well, yeah, we're here to talk about everything
Yes,
and anything
tangents.
D&D related.
We have 2 segments going to facilitate conversation. It's like you don't read our description.
What?
Do you even make our website?
So, have you guys seen the Bone Claw?
I'm talking about the Bone Claw. We have a different monster of the week. It's Dinosaurs. Which are we ready to get into?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Should.
That's fine.
Unless anyone else had anything else from Ranger Rogue. I
No.
mean, we're okay on time.
It's cool. I like it. I think overall it's pretty easy to get into, and you're not going to make too many bad decisions going into one of these subclasses. Again, the always the barrier is just how much Ranger is really worthwhile.
About half of it. Let's say about half of it.
That sounds about right. Unless you really like spells.
Nobody really likes Ranger spells, man.
Nobody does.
No, they're kind of lackluster.
I don't even know what they get at 5th level. Like 5th level spells.
There's Steel Wind Strike, which was cool. That's in Xanathars. That's a new one.
Isn't that bouncing around and
Yeah,
doing
you
more
like
attacks?
it's very anime-esque. You like fade out of existence,
Right.
And then
Oh, my one dimension.
yeah, you could roll an attack, and it's like 5 or 6 things within like 30 feet of you
Mm-hmm.
separately,
Mm-hmm.
and then you poof in front of it, attack, poof away to the next one, and attack, and it does like 3d10 damage.
6d10.
That was it. Yeah,
On each attack?
each hit.
Yes.
each hit is
Wow.
60-10.
If you hit all that, that's 30. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
Okay, never mind. Maybe it is worth getting up to level. Let's see.
it's high though because they're half.
17.
And they will only ever
17.
have, I think they only ever have one use of that a day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, if you go into 8 or 19 and 20, you get two
two
5th
level
level
5
spells.
spells. Yeah.
So you have to swallow the worst capstone in the game.
No, 19.
No, 19.
And then you take your bitterness 1 level bounce to rogue.
Well, 18 is actually
Taking
the
your
second
2d6
worst.
sneak attack.
1d6.
I was
At
just,
first and second is 1d6.
Yeah, don't do that. I mean,
at that point, I don't know. Yeah.
No, but getting it once per day at 17th level and then a 3 dip into rogue, not that bad.
30D.
But
then you just take-
then we're at the mythical level 20 campaigns, which don't happen.
We should just do it so we can do our stupid multi-class ideas. Come on.
I think we're pretty good at making multi-class ideas don't rely on getting all the way to 20. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, reading stuff online, it's like the optimization talks. It's always this kind of theoretical level 20 character that just
Right.
pops into existence.
like, oh, by the time I'm level 20, this works out perfectly.
yeah,
It's like,
but until then, it
okay.
doesn't. I feel like we hit a really good spot with that, where it's like we're talking viability at like actual playable ranges.
if you are a detriment to your party at level 5, you messed up in a multi-class.
yeah, no, the entire online community for multi-class and character optimization is a game in itself. It's not D&D. It's just like a weird version of math that will never happen in D&D.
Right. Unless we specifically go out of our ways to play over the top gladiatorial campaigns where it's just, hey, I'm throwing crazy monsters at you and you guys have dumb multi-classes that don't need any reasoning behind them. And I see the light in both of your eyes.
That's a
and how
good
exciting
idea.
that sounds.
We need to do this.
4 solars. Why? I don't know. Kill them.
I keep on talking about
Stadio
it.
Goblins.
I've brought this up
Stadio
like
Goblins.
so many times. Less about the multi-class, more about just like, let's just take a day and just like fight stupid high challenge rating monsters. I think it'd be really
Level
fun.
20 characters,
Yeah,
yeah.
with level 20 characters. We never get to play level 20 characters. There's a ton of monsters that we don't get to fight. But I'm going to be like, hey, here's 2 demon lords. It's like, what? That's going to kill us. Yeah.
That's the point, idiot.
And I'll tie it in RP wise, where it's like you are all a part of some like, oh man, this is totally different. But the Jimmy Neutron movie is what I'm thinking.
Oh,
of.
no.
Not the Jimmy Neutron movie,
Wait.
but a Jimmy Neutron movie. I know it's one of the TV ones,
Okay.
where they get on a game show and they're basically like, hey, I think it's like, we'll destroy your planet if you do poorly or something. Normal Jimmy Neutron stuff. Man, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm sorry, guys.
I think that's-
the point is, you guys just...
Wasn't that the plot of Thor Ragnarok too?
I didn't watch that.
No.
Yeah, they
but,
kidnap the Hulk and make him fight in the gladiatorial arena.
It wasn't for like the stake of Earth though.
But it's
It was
basically
for
going to be
something.
that. Like, you guys are the Earth's most powerful champions, and you just are like transported to some plane of existence where everybody's just like, hey, we want
Actually,
you to fight this.
You don't even need to. There is space in D&D. A lot of people don't know this. It's
Yeah.
not technically a plane. There is space, and there's fucking weird shit out there.
Yeah.
And they can just kidnap by
talked about
quirky
some of them.
aliens.
Yeah.
Who was that mind control race?
No, they look like weird termites with spider butts. That's all I can say.
Spider ants.
Pretty much.
But yeah, I think that'd be hilarious.
Yogi.
That's it.
Yogi.
Yogi.
So you get kidnapped.
Kick over some.
You wake up and they're like, hey, we've got these powerful clerics here to bring you back to life if you die. And we've got these powerful, literally everything else that we also kidnapped. And we want you guys to fight. That's it. And we just do that for like a day. And then we're like, wow, that was great. And then we do it again until we just fight all these crazy high level things that we'll never get to fight otherwise.
would
And we can
totally
do
do it.
just a bunch of characters that you can just keep swapping out if you want to change them.
I'd be up for that.
That is
All
some
right.
high level
We
play.
should probably record that.
All right. We'll figure it
But
out.
this setup won't quite work, but
It will if it's just us. I can put up a DM screen here.
No, it wouldn't. But we can figure it out.
All right. On to the monster of the week.
On to the monster of the week.
This week's monster is the dinosaur, and I guess that's dinosaurs.
No, you keep talking. That's how it works.
All
All right, no, it doesn't matter. All right.
you completely derailed it.
I'm
We
easy to
struggle
derail.
so much with like the scripted little tiny, like the 30 seconds of scripted bits we do.
It's awful.
Introducing monsters at the beginning and the intro.
Well, you know what, though? That kind of sums up what I have for dinosaurs. So I think it's fitting. Dinosaurs are dinosaurs. You want dinosaurs in your campaign? We've got dinosaurs. Do you have a reason for dinosaurs in your campaign? Well, you can do what I did once. One time, you guys went into a ancient society floating in the air, and what was behind that big metal door? A dinosaur. Why? I don't know. And I'm sure most of the times that you throw dinosaurs in your campaign, you're not going to really know why either. So, what's cool about dinosaurs?
Everything.
Absolutely everything. What fits in the D&D world about dinosaurs?
Everything.
No, actually, very little.
Very little, very little. Dinosaurs are usually restricted to very small areas. They're like hidden, never been touched by humans. And that's a way to do it. You've got your characters sailing around, whatever, and they find dinosaurs. Cool. I mean, that's one way to do it.
Yeah. I think, Will, you said it off of air, but just to remind you because you forget what you say. It's in any really big civilized area within, I can't anywhere, but I mean, just here specifically talking D&D, any megafauna like that are a threat to any individual person are just going to be taken care of.
Right.
Like, you're not going to find dinosaurs next to Waterdeep because the population of Waterdeep would have just wiped out the dinosaurs.
Yeah, hey, these dinosaurs are super inconvenient. Let's
Yeah.
kill the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So, how do we bring dinosaurs to Waterdeep?
Boats.
No.
There
what?
is an island
Wait, why were the
full
boats?
of dinosaurs and some entrepreneurial, business-minded individuals.
This is
Like,
the
plot to Jurassic Park 2. Shut
no,
up.
No, this is unique and
No.
original.
Pretty sure it's the plot. Oh,
It is
yeah.
the plot to
If you
Jurassic
bring
Park
the
2.
if
Yeah.
you bring the dinosaurs here, that's
I was
Jurassic
just
Park
doing
2.
the plots of Jurassic Park 2.
That was
But
a
whatever,
good
why
movie.
not? Like, so many things within D&D are just borrowed from other stuff or just outright stolen. So what? You have an arc that's the plot of Jurassic Park 2.
Honestly. Or,
Which is also just kind of the plot of King Kong.
oh, man.
Yeah, but it was dinosaurs.
Right, but you know what King Kong didn't have?
Dinosaurs.
Jeff Goldblum. So we get to throw him into our campaign.
Yeah.
And he's probably just, for whatever reason, in this story, the big bad evil guy. Jeff Goldblum.
No,
He
he's
didn't-
never been the bad guy.
He is in my
he-
story because he's just that.
What the hell do you have
Goldblum's
against
character
Jeff Goldblum?
Always
Against?
fought against us.
Wait, are you supposed to be like against the big bad evil guy in your campaign?
Oh yeah, we're doing the cool evil guy.
Yeah,
Make
he's
it hard
like,
for your
he's
character,
like,
like,
you know, oh,
I don't want to kill Jeff Goldblum.
All right, that's fine. Yeah, exactly. He's such a good guy.
Yeah, he's great.
No, No,
we
honestly
say
though,
based on his performances in movies we've seen.
yeah, right.
It's enough
Know
for me.
nothing about Jeff Goldblum.
We're gonna have to delete this in 2 years when something comes out. But no, I mean realistically, and by that I mean in D&D, so not realistically at all. You can throw things in for basically no reason. In this scenario, how about you just have a wizard who's summoning dinosaurs? Now let's think about his motives.
What what spell level is that?
I don't care. That's the best part. It's D&D. It's magic. He's spent his life researching dinosaurs, and he's like, I want dinosaurs here. They're so cool. And so he summons dinosaurs, and he thinks that he can control them. And guess what? You can't control dinosaurs. And that's one dumb idea. He could do it for power. He wants to just cause chaos in the area. And what's the best way to do that? Dinosaurs.
It's not dinosaurs.
Uh-oh.
That's the only issue.
Wait.
He's been egged on by the Nagpa.
The Nagpa. Turns out the Nagpa's a huge fan of dinosaurs.
Well, no, the Nagpa feeds this guy's obsession and like kind of hinting at knowledge and ways to open these portals from these like faraway lands where dinosaurs just pour out into the city and destroy everything.
Right.
Then the Nagpa gets its wish. They destroy a civilization and they get to go plunder its knowledge.
Honestly, every single episode is just another arc in the Nagpa's twisted yarn.
It's the Monster Man, the Eminem law. So what's it like? Is it Godwin's law? Any argument on the internet goes to Hitler. Is that Godwin?
Yes, that's Godwin.
Yeah. So we had the Eminem law. Any arc in D&D, it's the Nagpa.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. And I'm fine with that. I mean, it's just the point is dinosaurs are super cool. They're not able to be used enough. That's it. So here just think of dumb ways to do it. And if your party's mad about it, you have a bad party. If they go, this doesn't really fit in the realism of my D&D world, it's like, no, it's a wizard who summons dinosaurs. What's weird about that?
You're getting to fight a Brontosaurus and a T-Rex teaming up. Shut up. It's cool.
It's awesome.
Why are they teaming up? Because they hate you. Fight it. But this is also a great excuse to bring out if you have dinosaur toys from your childhood.
Oh my God. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Those are the best minis.
Minis, yeah.
You got big old Brontosaurus stomping around.
The Brontosaurus is considered gargantuan.
Yeah, and this is one thing I would say about dinosaurs is if you want to throw a very martially simple, not impossible to kill enemy at your players, the dinosaurs pretty much fill it out. They all have very basic attacks. Mm-hmm. They have big stat blocks, but low AC, and they do a lot of damage if they need to.
Right. One that I like a lot and I can't pronounce is the Quetzalcoatlus on page 140 of Vola's Guide to Monsters. It's a flying one, and what's really cool about that is it gets a dive attack, and I don't know any other creature that gets a dive attack. If this monster is flying and dives at least 30 feet toward a target and then hits with a bite attack, the attack deals an extra 3d6 damage. And on top of that, it gets this flyby ability where it doesn't provoke opportunity attack when it flies out of an enemy's reach. That just sounds super annoying, but I really like it because it can just like dive bomb, do its damage. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so the dive attack, it's an extra 3d6. Its regular bite is also 3d6 plus 2.
Right.
So if you do a dive attack and hits, it's 66 plus 2.
Mm-hmm. So it's only challenge rating 2, but these things would be
It only
great.
has 30 hit points.
Right. So they're kind of like good minions dinosaur minions.
Yeah.
They're okay minions, but it makes sense for them always to be in a group. A lot of these are going to be pack animals.
Yeah. Yeah, which actually disappoints me on the Velociraptor being challenge rating 1/4. All it gets is pack tactics, has 10 HP, that it's just not strong enough.
What do you mean it's not strong enough?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I just want to beef them up a little bit, but there's no real reason. It's just 10 HP is just so low. That's my main issue. I understand that you're probably going to throw a whole bunch at them, and it's going to be a matter of fighting, I don't know, 8 Velociraptors at once.
It's got multi-attack, which is pretty ridiculous for an enemy that low.
Yeah.
And
Right.
with pack
It's tiny,
tactics...
Did you notice that? I think you have the Jurassic Park Velociraptor in your head.
I totally do.
Where they like...
Don't bring science.
They like almost
Kevin.
like fetishize them. Like they're the ultimate
Hyper-intelligent.
hunters and, like where I think most studies of real life Velociraptors show they're closer to birds. They're kind of small. I mean, they are ultra intelligent, but they're small.
Tiny is, I mean, what? Okay,
It's the size of a goose.
a goose?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. So when you picture a Velociraptor, picture
Basically.
Canadian geese.
Oh, that
That
sucks.
explains their attitude.
And they're covered in feathers.
Yeah,
Well,
you
the
know,
feathers
like
I'm
in
fine with.
Jurassic Park, the little green lizards that always swarm on people.
The
I'm like,
compies.
Compies, yeah.
Sure, I think that's actually closer to what we're determining.
They're
in real
actually
life.
a little bigger than those because those things were like stretched out iguanas, but they're not much bigger. Science ruined dinosaurs. A lot of people ask me why I'm anti-science because they kill fun. It's like, oh, cool. Can we go to other planets? No, the energy requirement is beyond anything Earth could ever produce. I'm like, stop doing that. Do you hate fun? I want to live in a world where science ruins my fun.
It's going to.
Science 2.0. It's just me making stuff up and saying it as a fact. Dinosaurs were actually way cooler than they actually are.
Before we forget, this was actually a fan request.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, off of Twitter, at Babble Drabble.
Thank you, Babble Drabble.
Yeah, Babble_Drabble.
I believe your
cool username.
reasoning was dinosaurs are difficult to put into a campaign. Hey, guess what? I agree. I think
They
we
do
all-
work. I will say this: they do work on any kind of your players wake up on an island. That's great
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
dinosaurs.
you get in a shipwreck.
I'm still sticking with a wizard who conjures dinosaurs, and maybe they're the dinosaur lord, and they have a bunch of these dinosaurs circling over them, and they can just direct the dinosaurs. It's great for that over the top silliness that is just fun. It's just fun.
Yeah.
If you don't hate fun, it's great. So, scientist out.
Yeah, and mechanically with these, I don't really none of them I want to like specifically highlight. They're
Most-
all pretty basic, just small variations of, which is fine.
Yeah,
It's,
I said the only one that was interesting to me was the one I can't pronounce, but starts with a Q on page 140. Beyond that, they're all pounce attack, tail attack that might knock you prone.
Right.
It's a thing.
They do. I mean, they really do pack a wallop. The Brontosaurus is putting out up to 32 damage
With the
its
20-foot
tail.
reach.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Challenge rating
the-
4, 5. That is a great simple boss kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Why your characters are fighting a Brontosaurus, ethically speaking.
Well, it says in the monster manual that herbivores may attack to protect their young.
Why are you screwing with their young?
Maybe you cast a fireball in the last fight, and a Brontosaurus was nearby and views you as a threat.
Oh, if you blew up a baby Brontosaurus, I'm rooting for the Brontosaurus.
It's not the point. It's what the players just have to go, you know what? We did mess up, and honestly, we have no way to rectify this besides dying.
It's
So,
called repentance.
and how are you going to do that with the Brontosaurus? Bring it some leaves?
Star leaves.
Yeah, some star leaves. We're just going to make this about Land Before Time. Can we play out Land Before Time where the PCs are the dinosaurs?
Everybody has to roll a different dinosaur. That would suck. Oh, I'm challenge rating 2, whatever. I can't pronounce this. What am I? It's like, I don't know. I'm not a dinosaurologist.
I can't even pronounce myself. My name's Quinn now. I'm just Quinn.
we have played as T-Rexes. The Tyrannosaurus Rex is a really good option for polymorphing.
That's
into,
true. That's very true.
Like one of your PCs.
I want to say it is the best option for that range. Or at least was until they added more.
Yeah,
the giant ape's another good one. The T-Rex, I think it has more damage potential than the giant ape, but the
Giant
T-Rex
ape
has to hit 2 separate things.
And doesn't the giant ape get more health?
Yes.
And also a ranged attack where it
Yeah.
can throw a rock. So
But still, I want
Yeah.
to be a T-Rex.
That's
I don't want to
fair.
be a giant ape.
I don't want to be a monkey. I want to be a T-Rex.
Oh god, it's King Kong versus T-Rex.
I was going to say, when we play my level 20 gladiatorial campaign, we're just going to polymorph each other into T-Rexes and giant apes and have them fight.
Who would win?
We'll find out.
We'll find out. Next time on Monsters of Multiclass, we make a giant ape fight a T-Rex.
It's going to be very, very mathematical. Any other final thoughts on dinosaurs?
I like dinosaurs.
I like dinosaurs.
I like dinosaurs.
All right, put more dinosaurs in your campaign in 2019. How about that for a New Year's resolution? Might
good
be a
one.
little late at this point, but yeah, you've got 11 months to go ahead and put dinosaurs in your campaign.
Cool.
You owe it to your players.
I think that's everything.
I think that is everything.
We forgot to do this last episode. You can follow us on Twitter. This whole self-promotion thing, remember?
Oh,
we always forget to do it.
Where we do it uncomfortably. Stammering and
We really
Follow us
if
on
you
Stammer.
Follow us on Twitter. We kind of post interesting things.
yeah. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to us in other manners, like on Google Play or Spotify.
Previews of what we're doing. Or you could reach out to us on Twitter and suggest a monster you want to hear us talk about. Like the dinosaur here.
Right.
That's where it came from. The next two are also fan requests. So we actually do them. And then leave us a review wherever you can leave a review. It's, I think I've said it before, turns out it's like really critical for podcasts like being seen on the various distribution sites, and they're just hard to get people to do them, which I understand. But if you're like listening to us and you're looking at iTunes, go just click that review thing.
I wonder how many people have stuck around at this point.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Like if we just talk about it at the end, like I would love to know like who's like, I'm still listening. I still want to hear them talk about like, yeah, maybe I should leave a review. And like, is there anyone out there? Do you really care what's next week on Monsters and Multiclass?
People
so bad
merging into traffic. That
they're like, I can't stop it. Yeah, I can't change the podcast. Hey, that's okay. For your dedication, you get to hear Kevin sing part 3 of Magical Trevor.
So you were making it even worse.
Yeah,
you're gonna cause a car.
Don't do that.
We're gonna stick it at the end.
Yeah, don't do that.
No,
you're not allowed. Oh. I'm sorry. We're done with Magical Trevor.
We've teased everybody. We got part 1 and 2. There's 2 more parts.
Yeah, and we've just gotten such great reviews on that everybody's clamoring for more Magical Trevor.
Well, they're newer.
All right.
It just came out. We don't know yet.
All right. That's it.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
See you next week. Sorry.
Just end every podcast with a sorry. Yeah. Just that much of a defeat us.
Sorry.
I'm sorry for doing this, guys.
So many regrets. Next week on Monsters and Multiclass.
Join us next week as we take a look at the Cleric Sorcerer Multiclass and dive into kobolds from the Monster Manual and Vogel's Guide to Monsters.